Welcome to the Forge Your Future podcast, brought to you by East Central Educational Service Center, located in Newcastle, Indiana. We proudly provide service support and collaboration to 14 counties and 39 member districts.
At ECESC, we believe that students' strengths and interests are a blueprint to forging a future of success and impact, and we are on a journey to provide support and collaboration to schools as they implement career-connected learning for all students.
As part of this mission, we are here today to celebrate the amazing educators who help the students of East Central Indiana dream big dreams and achieve more than they thought possible.
Their work inspires us each day, and we want to lift up their stories and the stories of the students they are impacting and serving. Welcome to the Forge Your Future podcast. My name is Pat Haney, director here at East Central Educational Service Center, and my co-host today, as always, I should say, is Lindsey Laverne, instructional specialist and grant coordinator here at ECESC. Hi, Lindsey. How are you today?
Hello. I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Well, we are excited today to be joined by Dr. Greg Roach, Superintendent of Daleville Community Schools. Welcome, Greg, and how are you doing today?
Thank you. It's good to be here. We are just a little bit in front of spring break that starts at the end of the day today. So wrapping up and excited to get a little bit of a break here and some time off. I think our students and staff would agree with that statement as well.
I'm sure.
All right. Well, we hope to send you into spring break on a high note here with a really good conversation.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's, as we start, if you could just give our listeners a background about Daleville Community Schools, where you're located, your student population, and then just kind of big picture what your district is all about.
Okay. Daleville Community Schools is a small rural school located in Delaware County. We're between basically Muncie and Anderson, a little closer to Anderson. We have two school buildings on one campus in Daleville, a K-6 elementary school and then a 7-12 junior senior high school. Right now we have 985 students with 545 of those at the elementary school and 440 at the high school. Maybe a little unique, 54.4% of our students are out of district transfers. So with the transfer rate that we have being that high, we know it's very important to offer high quality educational opportunities and meet the needs and interests of our students. We feel like we have to be really good at what we do to attract students and to retain our students, to offer the programming that we want to offer our students. And I guess that's, if I sum up the big picture of our district is we try as we can, whether personnel wise or financially, if we can, we try to meet those needs and interests of our students and have expanded opportunities for our students, maybe beyond what you would expect at a 1A school.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, Greg, as we go forward, we look forward to talking a little bit more, doing a little bit deeper dive into those opportunities that you are offering, but also want to learn a little bit more about you and your journey as an educator and in your leadership. So what brought you to Daleville Schools, and how long have you been serving as superintendent there?
I began my career as a 7th and 8th grade math teacher at South Whitley Middle School up in northern Indiana. I was there for a year and a half, and then we merged with our other middle school to become Whitco Middle School. So I did that for another year and a half, so 3 years total as a 7th and 8th grade math teacher. The high school athletic director job at Whitco opened. I applied for that and was fortunate to get that position, and served as the Whitco athletic director at the high school for 3 years. And then I was named athletic director of Mount Vernon High School in Fortville. Then I was a principal at Mount Vernon for 3 years. And I was, at that point, I wanted to continue to move up the administrative ladder with the goal to be a superintendent someday. I was fortunate to get the assistant superintendent business manager job at Blackford County Schools. Mr. Yenser, the superintendent there, would tell you I stayed a year and a half at Blackford. I stayed a year and 3/4 before I left. And then the superintendent job at Daleville opened up, and applied, went through the process, and was offered that job. It was a little bit unique the way I came into Daleville. I came April 1st as the assistant superintendent as Mr. Paul Garrison finished up his career, long career here at Daleville. So I spent 3 months as the assistant superintendent. My only job responsibilities were to plan for the next school year and to get to know the staff and begin building relationships with the staff. Mr. Garrison was so gracious and kind and helping me transition into that with him here. And his statement to me was, I will take care of everything else, including all the negative things that sometimes come up for superintendents, while I got ready and got to know people for the next year. And this is my 4th year at Daleville. And Daleville is just a wonderful place to be. It feels like home, and definitely the best job I've had in education throughout my time.
Awesome.
That's great. A happy work anniversary. We're getting close to that April 1st date. Probably when this comes out yep. in the world, it will be right around that time. So that's wonderful. What we want to know more about your schools, and I'm sure our listeners do too. What would be the thing that we need to celebrate today? What are you most proud of that's going on with your staff and students right now?
I alluded to it when I talked about our high number of transfer students, but I'm most proud of the opportunities we offer our students. We really feel like for a 1A school, we offer a lot of opportunities. We have, and I would invite you guys to come look at this if you haven't already, or anybody that's listening, a school administrator. We have an outdoor learning lab that we set up. We had a teacher win the Ball Brothers Foundation Excellence in Teaching Award, and he dedicated that money to develop this outdoor learning lab. We had an apple orchard that's part of our school property, but it has now become a robust place. It's an outdoor classroom, and we now have 2 staff members that are solely assigned to the outdoor learning lab. That work with our teachers. They take grade level or course standards and apply them to activities that we can do out at the lab. An example, just measurement and things like that. Our students picked apples and worked with the kitchen staff to make applesauce at our elementary the last 2 years. And there are other things that we do, but they're developing a whole curriculum that can go eventually K-12. We can encompass every student and have something that they can do out there that applies to their actual standards of the courses or classes that you're in. We have makerspace rooms in both of our buildings that allow students to tinker and build and just learn in a different way. We've instituted Project Lead the Way at our elementary school. And then we have 2 courses each at the high school and Project Lead the Way Engineering, and then PLTW Health Sciences, with the plan to add a 3rd course in each of those next year. And then, another thing I'm really proud of, and I think it's unique at a 1A school, we offer the 30 hours of dual credit all in-house. We have credentialed teachers that we can offer all 30 full credits of dual credit. And I think that's very difficult for a school our size. But, and then we've also done the work we have done for our students to have workforce experience and career guidance is something we're very proud of as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing a theme there of bringing the real world into the classroom and relevance. Students are in the outdoor lab, and then also your makerspace PLTW opportunities, and then work-based learning. That, to me, that all is about, making sure students are prepared for reality outside of academia, which I think is awesome. So right now, you said students in K-12 get to have the outdoor learning lab experience?
Yeah, they can. It's primarily elementary. The bulk of, if you did percentages, the bulk of our students are from the elementary school, but we have high school course, classes that go out there as well. And we're trying to build up to that, and show the connection to the standards in classes at the high school to have them come out there. We do have classes that come out, but even from last year to this year, bringing staff on board that were solely dedicated to the outdoor learning lab, we've seen our elementary numbers just skyrocket. Number of students visiting out there during the school day. So, like I said, it's something that's ongoing in our pursuit to use it even more.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to let's plan a field trip, Pat. We'll go see it. Especially now that the weather's getting nicer.
Exactly. You have to come out sometime in September. You can pick an apple and things like that. So.
Perfect. Invitation noted. We will.
Can that be a staff outing?
I like it. Absolutely. Well, Greg, if you would love to have you kind of zoom in a little bit to an example or two of recent student successes that really, highlight what Daleville Schools is all about and what you were able to provide for your students.
Okay, yeah, and looking at our mission is to maximize the skill and potential of all of our students for a successful future. So that ties back into the things that I mentioned earlier that we're proud of. So that's our lens and how we focus what we're doing. But just last week, I attended an Optimist Essay Awards program. 3 of our students were recognized for just outstanding essays that they wrote. And they received cash awards for that as well. But we had one student that wrote about her path from being a pessimist to an optimist. And we had another student that wrote about how optimism has helped her deal with all aspects of life, including school and the stress over grades and homework and tests, relationships with friends and family, and just how optimism has helped her. Third student wrote about a 3-step approach she uses to focus on positivity and optimism, just to better her life and deal with life issues that come along, including school. And what the common theme throughout all 3 essays, they referred to events at school or things that happened in school or things they learned and support they received from our staff members that help them grow and get through issues and be optimistic and they all used it. They felt prepared, and just to finish what they meant by that, prepared for success in life, which goes right back to our mission. So I was sitting there and listening to them. They came up and they had to each read their essays and just listening to what they were saying. That's a very proud moment for me, for our students, just the way they presented themselves and the great essays they wrote, but also for our entire school corporation. We're on the right path. A lot of times you do things, and if you look back at your mission, you think it doesn't quite tie in, or you have to tangentially attach to it. But what they were saying is right on what we're trying to do, and I just feel like that those 3 students evidenced our efforts to have them prepared to succeed at life. That was really, really, it made a real impression on me just listening to it.
So when you talk about graduating students who are prepared for life, what specific qualities or skills does that bring to mind? What are you hoping that you're launching them into the world with?
So they go through courses of study and meet standards and gain knowledge. That's obvious that our students do that. But the things we talk about with our students are things like grit and toughness, determination to succeed. And then on maybe the softer side of that, showing compassion for others. Being generous with time and resources, whether it's us demonstrating that or if we can get them to see that through their activities, being kind and caring, if we can have students lead with integrity, and maybe the biggest thing that I've seen in today's day and age, students that understand that you need to be held accountable. If you don't meet expectations, there is accountability there, and but there's also opportunities to make corrections. If we can have our students lead with those skills, no matter what they're doing, whether they're going straight to the workforce, the military, or going on to higher education, we feel like the academics we've taken care of. But if we can instill these kind of skills and qualities in them, then we would expect that they would be successful. On a side note, I talk a lot. Every email I send out, it starts with "Dear Bronco Family," and we go from there when I send it to parents or staff or students. And I talk about that at every graduation. I am the only speaker at graduation besides the valedictorian and salutatorian. And that predates me. If they knew my lack of public speaking skills, they might not ask me to do that. But one of the things I talk about is that they are part of the Bronco family even after they leave us. And they hear that we want them to share their successes with us so we can celebrate with them. And also when they have troubles, if we can help them, let us know, because that's what a family should do. We want them to know we're always there for them to help them. But like I said, the skills and qualities that I mentioned, we feel like if we can instill those in our kids, once they leave, they have a great chance to be successful in their life.
Yeah.
Greg, I love that you were talking about graduation, and also, hearing some of those qualities that you really lean into in Daleville, that generosity with time and resources, and kind of that servant leadership. I'm curious, as you think about the day after graduation, I also heard you say earlier that you are focused on that career connected learning, and that, and I know you're doing work in career coaching as well. I'd love if you could reflect a little bit on how you are working and helping guide students towards what that plan, that day after graduation looks like, as they think about a future of success and impact.
Our high school counselor does a lot with our students, to prepare for post-graduation. But we're fortunate. We have a staff member who's our grant writer, and he's also connected to our workforce development and post-graduation. So he is working with them. It's interesting. Before the 3 grant came along, and then the CHE grants, there's a lot of things in those grants that they want you to do that we were actually doing them before. I went to our staff member, and I asked him to create an opportunity for every senior to have a job experience, a work experience somewhere, whether that was an internship, a short term, time that they spent there, or a job shadow, something they're connected to, something they're interested in. Mm-hmm. We've drawn that down. We drew that down to juniors, and now as part of our CHE, we go all the way down to 7th grade, where we're meeting with those students one-on-one every year, bringing in professionals and industry leaders to talk about what they have. But we do everything we can to meet with them and guide them and show them the path that they need to take, depending on their interests. And when you leave high school, that day after is a day of increased responsibility in your life for yourself, I guess. So we try to have that support for them up to that point. And I know we also reach out to them at the end of a year, to the student or the parents, to find out what they did in that year. And then we match it to what they told us they were going to do, and just to see how that works.
I love it.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about that extended Bronco family that helps support those opportunities? Who are your community partners, employers, those type folks that you're able to lean on to make sure that your students get those experiences?
At last count, I can't tell you all of them, because at last count, I think we had 76 business or corporate sponsorships or partnerships that we could draw on for our different career interests for our students. It's everything from welding, electrician. We've worked with manufacturing, attorneys, dental, nursing, doctors. We took students that were interested in law to the State House. It's a very wide range of places where we can meet. We have airplane pilots. We've gone to the Anderson Airport. So like I said, it's just a vast array of contacts that we've developed. And then on the other side of that, we have all sorts of community partners, and foundations. East Central Education Service Center, we work with you guys through the 1008 grant for tutoring for our students, and then through the CHE grant, for the career development. We have Ball Brothers Foundation, George and Francis Ball Foundation, Delaware County Community Foundation, Muncie Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, Delaware County Economic Development Commission. We worked with NMAC to get our labs, our technology labs. The IDOE, anytime we see a grant there, we pursue it. We used FEMA, USDA. We got for our outdoor learning lab, we have a farm to school grant. So we just explore, and we have, like I said, we have a grant writer who is searching for those opportunities. And once again, that's unique at a 1A school, a small school, for somebody to do that. But he has brought in the last year, I know it's over $500,000 in grants for us. So it allows us to do a lot of things because we have these connections, and once you get a grant somewhere, and you make good use of it, and you demonstrate that to them, and you bring them out and show them your outdoor learning lab, they're excited to continue to partner with you when there are other grant opportunities. And some of those, like FEMA, was more operational supplies. But when you're using grants to buy operational supplies, then you have funding to do other things that benefit students. And that's kind of been our, the Chamber of Commerce helped us with a lane for our parents for pickup at the elementary. It made it much safer. Once again, something that was very needed, but it allows us not to have to use money that we have, funds that we have already. We can use separate funds and use that. Town of Daleville has been great with us too. We're working on a lane, an extension of Bronco Drive that runs in front of our schools to have a better flow and probably a safer flow for pickup and drop off of buses. So people are very very willing to help us, and I think we do a good job. And I say we, not me, for sure. We do a good job with the funds we get, maximizing what we can do. And then, like I said, with the outdoor learning lab, we're always open to show people what we're doing. If it can help them do something as well, that's great. But we also like to brag a little bit about the things we're able to do as well.
Yeah. Well, like you said, that leads to more opportunities if you can maximize your current opportunities and what you're building from there. And I think it speaks to, your connections as well. That it sounds like it's kind of had a snowball effect. So, the more you go after opportunities, the more opportunities you end up getting, whether it's because you made a connection or because you're showcasing the good work that you did. It all just continues to build, and you grow your network of support.
I've described it as an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral, because we're using grant funds and all our funds to improve areas, and then we can show that to other people that will want to see it and want to be a part of it.
I know through our career coaching grant through CHE, Daleville has definitely had a leadership role in working with coaches in those meetings. Dr. Long always has something to share because, like you said, he's been in that space prior to the state making it a big priority. It was already a priority at Daleville, so we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, he's our grant writer too. He doesn't, if he watches this or if he hears I said his name, he won't be happy with me. But he doesn't want any credit. He just wants to help. And he's a retired superintendent, longtime superintendent and educator. So he understands, and he just wants what's best for the school corporation and for our students. It's really fun to watch him just enjoy interacting with students and helping students. The reward that you can see on his face for doing those things is certainly encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I was going to say, I don't want to predict the future here or tie anyone's hands, but I think we just named this podcast episode "The Upward Spiral of Daleville."
I am in our notes. I was about to type that. I was like, that's our title.
There it is. All right. Very good. Well, Greg, I can't tell you how much we appreciate the partnership with Daleville Community Schools and being a very small part of that Bronco family. is certainly a great privilege and honor. And we have a question that we like to wrap up each of our episodes with. And so for those who are listening, we would love to know, what are you recommending right now? What's something that you'd be excited to share with others? It could be anything from a book to a blog, a show, a new habit, either personal or professional. What do you want to tell your friends about?
Okay, I have a few things. But when I came to Daleville, I would start each of our administration meetings with 2 questions, and it actually is on the agenda as 2 questions. This has helped me to get to know everybody, and it helped them to get to know me, what I thought, what I believed. One question was always school related, and the other was more to get to know them as a person. And then I went to the IASBO yearly conference, I think 3 years ago. I heard a speaker share, I don't have a toxic environment here, but he had a toxic environment with his upper level leadership. So he started every meeting with, tell me something good. And so when you say it like that, they've got to tell you something good. And he said it started slow, but he saw the culture start to change. So I changed the beginning of our meeting. The first thing we do is tell me something good, and then there'll be one question. It could be school related. It could be a personal question. But it's just a good opportunity for us to share with each other, just the good things that are going on, whether in our life or at school, because we're all often dealing with a lot of negative stuff. So, and those take sometimes, and I try to be an organized guy. I try to be on time, and we want to get the meeting over in a prompt fashion if we can. But sometimes those take 20, 25 minutes to get through those questions. And I was going to say I learned. I didn't have to learn it, but I knew that I just needed to let that write itself out. And when we were done, and we move on to the bulk of the meeting. And I think they all enjoy it. They talk about it, and they've passed it on at times to their building level meetings, smaller meetings, not full staff meetings. So I think that's a good thing. It creates a positive environment. If I can share a couple more, as an administration team, we do at least one book study every year as an administrative team. And it's actually this year we started, it's one of our goals in our evaluation to make sure that way we have some skin in the game to get it completed. We've done the Fish book by Stephen London. And then this year we did Move Your Bus by Ron Clark. Both in different ways. Both the Fish book, if people aren't familiar with it, it's just about your attitude and approach to your job. You choose your attitude, basically. And it's just a story. And that's a very easy read if you want to take a look at that. Move Your Bus by Ron Clark, who is the founder of Ron Clark Academy. It just talks about the type of people in your building and how you can get everybody moving the same way. But with us, they were both very good because it led to a lot of sharing. And our high school principal actually has taken each of those book studies and had his staff do them as well. But one of the things about me, I always want to learn and grow. And I'm fortunate my administrators did too, because I was going to have to teach them how to learn, that they wanted to learn and grow if they didn't. So that was a good thing. And then on a personal note, my wife and I 5 years ago, we started picking a word of the year. And everybody in our family does it. And the past 5 years, my words have been joy, happy, gratitude, grow. And this year it's resilient. Just some not personal struggles, but deaths in the family and things like that happened in 2024. Resilient was a good word for me. Like I said, we started doing this 5 years ago, and we also actually pick a song that goes with our words. So it's a fun way to do it. But then I share my word of the year with the staff at our opening meeting in August. And of course, it's already 7 months in and I've had that word. And they remember my words of the year. And I've had teachers come up to me and email me and say, that's awesome. And, I picked a word, here's what it is. And I always explain to the staff why this is my word of the year. Last year it was grow. I was in my 33rd year in education last year, and I wanted to stress to them that I never want to stop growing and learning. And I always have an explanation. For me personally, I refer back to that word every day when I get to school. I think about all my words, but in particular, the word that is the word of the year. It's made an impact on me. as far as it's just a reminder of you can get bogged down in things that are going on, or you can step up and say, it's going to be better today. So I would highly recommend picking a word of the year that you want to focus on, and like I said, have some fun with it and come up with a song. Another thing, just if I can throw it out real quick, and our elementary assistant principal started this. Every Thursday, he assigned somebody to come up with the song of the day for Friday, for the drive-in song of the day for Friday, and it's just whatever you want to pick. Mine was it was the Friday that we were getting ready to play. We were in the basketball sectional, so a couple weeks ago. I actually waited until about 4:30 when they were on the bus, and our athletic director is also our boys basketball coach, and it was Eye of the Tiger, and I sent that out and said, "This is for our boys basketball coach to get ready for the game tonight." But just fun, something fun to do. So.
But Greg, I'm a sucker for a theme song and also a walk-up song, even though the drive-in song was new to me. So I'm kind of latching on to that drive-in song. And if you haven't seen it, I happened to be in downtown Indianapolis for a meeting a couple weeks ago, and in Massachusetts Avenue, I just Googled it. There's a mural of the word resilience.
Really?
On the side of a building in downtown Indianapolis. So anyway, you'll have to Google that to go along.
Yeah,
with
take a look at it. Maybe I'll go get a picture by it. So
there you go.
Yeah,
I like it. Well, I love hearing just about your work in Daleville and your leadership and the culture that you're building. And it's interesting that you talked a little bit about those optimism essays, because I definitely heard a lot about an optimistic approach to teaching and to learning and to community. So Greg, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today. It has been an honor to have you on the podcast, and we wish you and all of the Bronco family a wonderful spring break.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Forge Your Future podcast. We hope that this glimpse into the bright future of East Central Indiana inspires you and brings you hope.
We have the privilege to work with these future makers every day and want to share their stories throughout Indiana and beyond.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it with your circle, and let's keep the conversation going.
You can connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on our website.
Until next time, remember that your strengths and interests are a blueprint to your future of success and impact.